Welcome back to the weekly something something. I'm your host, the guy with the cold. Today we're playing Crash Team Racing, but not for very long because I need to go lay down. I originally recorded 8 races for this video, but I'm gonna save those other 4 races for a future one because I don't have 18 minutes of talking in me today, but I do have 8 minutes of talking in me today. So let me tell you about my week and how it's been. Please excuse the groggy voice. Excuse? That's not the right use of that excuse. Oh. This week I played The Elder Scrolls Online High Isle because I bought that, I pre-ordered that, and then I didn't play it when it came out because I was like, I don't feel like ESO right now. But the other day the ESO bug hit me. I was like, hey, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go play High Isle. And I think what I've discovered is I'm getting a bit tired of ESO's modular story design, but they do say they're going to be mixing things up next year, so hopefully that appeals to my kind of, you know, it's just like every new expansion, it's like, I mean, you do get returning characters, but they're not really written to be returning characters. Like, you get an extra line of dialogue if your character's met them before, and that's about it. So it's good to see Zaji again, for instance, but like, he doesn't have any character development from the previous expansion, you know? There's no overarching story, and at first that doesn't matter. When you start up ESO, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I've got so many stories to go see, so many landmasses to go explore, like, so many, like, individual chapters to go and read, for want of a better term, and it's great, but eventually, after you're doing them all every time they release, you're like, okay, so never mind all that, now we're gonna go do this. And I don't know, I'm sure people like it because otherwise they wouldn't keep doing it, but I'm starting to get a little bit burnt out on it. I think. But I think I'm like 2 quests into ESO High Isle, I think, because, you know, the main questline chain, the quests go on for a fairly long time. I don't think it's bad, I've been enjoying it, but I just don't feel anything calling me back to it because the stakes feel temporary. I think the things I do want to do in ESO are just like achievement hunt and like fill out maps and play alternate characters and stuff. I think I'm kind of over the story chapters. But yeah, between that and World of Warcraft Dragonflight not really doing much for me, I am having some sort of MMO identity crisis. I blame Final Fantasy XIV, the critically acclaimed MMORPG, which I actually haven't been playing too much of that this week, but I know the next patch is coming out, I think within the week. I don't know the exact date, but I'll be excited to play more MSQ. I don't really know what's coming in the patch. I've been waiting for like Zeppler to put out a video because she's the only Final Fantasy XIV YouTuber I really watch besides Grinding Gear who aren't caught up on the MSQ. But she hasn't done that yet, so I'm like, hey lady, I need that video please, I rely on you for the news. I've also been playing Rune Factory 4 Special Edition, which is a game that I've been curious about for quite some time. I actually own the original on 3DS, but it was around the time I fell out of love with just playing games on my 3DS in general, so it didn't really stand much of a chance. And something I've learned over the years is that it really does matter where you play a game. Like, this may sound superficial to some people, but in my brain, like, if I'm not, like, using my 3DS all the time, if my 3DS is like something that collects dust until like I want to play the occasional game, I don't tend to enjoy playing games on my 3DS as much for that reason. It's like a self-fulfilling spiral or something. I don't know, man, I'm on cold medication. But for instance, a couple of years ago I was all about the PS4, but now the idea of, like, I could go and play God of War Ragnarok on my PS4, I think that's a PS4 title, right? Or Spider-Man Miles Morales. These are both games that I'm super interested in, and I trust that it would run okay on the PlayStation 4, the base one that I have, because they were able to do the original God of War and the original Spider-Man on that console, and it looked pretty good. But I don't know, something about the fact that I just don't use it as much means like I'd rather just wait till I have a PS5 at some point in the fairly distant future and play them there. It's like how when Game Pass titles come out, sometimes if they're not specifically taxing, I could play it on my PC or I could play it on my Xbox. Like Vampire Survivors would be the perfect example of this. It's like, why am I not playing that on my PC? Because I can still get Xbox achievements in it and everything, and it's right there, and I wouldn't have to like turn on my Xbox, you know, set up the capture, you know, freaking press the button on my monitor to make it to go to HDMI mode and play it there. But I just like being there on my Xbox, you know? Did I talk about Rune Factory 4 Special? I didn't. So yeah, I decided to get it on Xbox when it was on sale. And I'm actually kind of like in one of those kind of awkward areas where I'm juggling like lots of games, like I'm still playing through The Witcher 3 for example, but to actually talk about the damn game, it's delightful, it's wonderful. If you like Stardew Valley, chances are you're going to like Rune Factory Full Special. You should probably play it. The people are charming, the dialogue is a little bit 2013 if you know what I mean. If you don't now, you will when you play it, and I wasn't sure that shortcut was going to open up for me in the video feed. I'm only on like the 6th of spring right now, so I'm still very early, but like it is legitimately a delightful little world to immerse yourself in, and I really like all the villagers. They're cute, I want to marry all of them. I do plan on putting out a video at some point of my adventures in Rune Factory 4, or whatever the name, Cephalia? Something. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about? I didn't talk about Crash Team Racing. You know, the game you're seeing on the screen right now, I was going to do that. So yeah, if you go back far enough in the Weekly Waypoint, back in the PS4 era like I was talking about, look at that, look how unfortunate that was. You will find Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled in the Weekly Waypoint. I don't remember how often I played it, but I do remember shortly after I transitioned away from the Weekly Deathmatch name, one of the games I was excited to play was Nitro Fueled. I played the absolute living heck out of that game, and I loved it. It's one of my favourite remasters of all time, but I thought it'd be fun to go back and play the original again and see how it looked, see how it controlled. And yeah, it took me a minute to get back into the groove of it, and to be fair, I haven't touched Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled for a long time, so it might just be straight up lifted gameplay, I don't remember. From what I can tell, it pretty much is, but I think there may be some quirks to the handling which are a little bit more smoothed out in the remake. But yeah, it's fun playing this again. I also plan on playing the PS2 sequel, Crash Team Racing Nitro Kart, but I don't know if I'm going to do that next week or if I'm going to play more levels in this game next week or what I'm going to do. Knowing me, I will probably forget. I'm trying to save the second half of this footage and delete the raw file and have to play the levels again. But yeah, no, it's as fun as I remember it being as a kid. I used to play as Polar, but when I went to select a character in a campaign, it was like, oh, Polar's beginner difficulty. I was like, no, I can't do that. My fragile man ego won't let me, so I went with Crash Bandicoot. Normally, it's like, why would you play as the mascot in the Mascot Kart Racer? But Crash Bandicoot, he's pretty cool, dude. He's pretty goofy. He's got that wacky grin, you know? You never know what he's gonna do. Also, Crash Team Nitro Fueled has a grand total of 56 characters to choose from. The original game has 8. You can't even play as Tiny the Tiger. No, you can play as Tiny the Tiger. You can't even play as Crash. Probably because he hadn't been invented yet. Okay. It's okay, Christian, we're almost there. We're almost at the end of the video. Keep it together, buddy. In real life news, I applied for my dream job, because why not? It's my second time doing so. I probably shouldn't just be like, oh, they didn't do me the first time, so I'm never doing it again. Probably shouldn't be like that. Probably should be applying to it every time it comes up. But hey, I got discouraged. But I'm back in it, baby. I'm back in the running. And if I do get that job, it would change my entire life, and I would be very happy. I will keep you updated, but you know, it's a very popular position. I'm sure thousands of people are vying for it. It's a staff writer at Pure Xbox. And I think I've got a pretty strong application, but I mean, all it takes is for one person to jump in with a, hey, I wrote at an actual magazine for 10 years, and then I'm just in the dirt. Anyway, that was Crash Team Racing. Thank you for watching. I will see you next week, where hopefully I'm less plague-riddled.